And what we're going to show everybody today is how to sample your way to success. This is so important. And, I started thinking about, what is the best way? And, I shared this with the group on yesterday. And I want to share with you guys today how big sampling can be for your business, just in case you're not bought in yet. Because, Owen, some folks are thinking, oh, man, am I just giving my product away, right? They're looking at how much this program is going to cost them, and they're taking their eyes off of what the end result can actually be. And so what I have on the screen right now is we're showing people what can happen with just one sample. Jim Faubert was brought into Unicity by one sample. Those of you who don't know who Jim is our upline triple diamond. He's been in the industry for 32 years. He is widely known and respected throughout the industry. He's made a ton of money. And back in around June of 2009, he was drinking an energy drink from another company. His friend Joe saw him and said, hey, man, get rid of that junk. You need to try this one. And he gave him a packet of Unicity's energy drink, which is now called Matcha, which back then was called BioSlife E or BioSlife Smart Energy. And he said, you need to try this. It's got none of that bad stuff in it. It's really good for you. It tastes great. And Jim took a look at that, and he tried it, and he agreed it tastes great, and it made him feel good, right, because that's what matcha does. It makes you feel good. He watched the videos, and next thing you know, fast forward, here he is today, 4 years later, triple diamond, fastest ever in Unicity's history worldwide, and just now receiving a $500,000 bonus. Now, that's obviously a huge organization, and I got to ask you guys, how many of you wish that you were the one who brought Jim Faubert in? But I'll tell you what, let's make the picture bigger for everybody, Julie, because I want to make sure everybody understands what one sample really did. So one sample brought in Jim Faubert, and Jim Faubert brought in Samantha Janvrin, who is also a presidential diamond. You see her on the screen now, all right? Well, Samantha Janvrin brought in T. Gray. That's me, double diamond, right? So now you can start to see what happened from one sample. Well, I brought in Julie Krieger, who's a presidential director now, and I also brought in Owen Burroughs, who's a presidential sapphire now. And Julie brought in Zhang Zhang, who is a presidential director, and Kor Zhang, who's a presidential director, and Owen brought in Nora Davis, who's a presidential director, and Nora brought in Myrtle Monroe, who is a presidential diamond now, and Myrtle brought in Janelle Wood, well, indirectly, but she brought in Janelle Wood, who is also a presidential ruby now, who brought in Stanley McDonald, who's a presidential ruby, who brought in Neil Griffith, who's a presidential ruby, and also Rodney Yard, who's a presidential director. And we forgot one. We got Ian. We're breaking presidential so fast, I try to keep up with them. But we've also got Ian Gilbert, who is a presidential director. And so, folks, let me ask you guys a question. Say again?
Anne-Marie Richards.
Oh, look at that. I'm sorry, Jamaica. Please forgive me, Anne-Marie. I work with Anne-Marie every day. Anne-Marie, presidential director as well. So look at all those presidential directors. Look at that. Let me ask you guys a question. Now, how many of you wish that you sampled Jim Faubert? This is the power of a sample, and this is why we always say you're one sample away from an explosion. Owen, Julie, anything you want to say about that before we dig in?
No, T, I just love that example, and it really brings to life the concept. Because, poor people thinking is, I got to spend money for these samples. Rich people thinking is, these samples are going to make me a lot of money, and they're going to explode my business. And that just put flesh and bone to that whole concept, that sample has led to so many people being blessed. And not even on the screen, every single person on this call is directly related to that one sample.
That's right. Hey, Owen, I was just, when you were saying that, I was just really stopping to think, how many millions of dollars now has been paid out to people, because you got to realize this is just a part of Jim's downline, right? because we just traced out and started building out from underneath me. But you know what? Jim's got a whole nother organization outside of Samantha. And so we didn't even talk about Lena Track and Desmond Palmer, you know, and Michelle Houle and all those guys up in Canada and the folks in, you know, Jim's organization in the Philippines. And you know, so it's just really amazing how big that is. So when you stop and you think about Jenny Gao, right, we think about all the bonus money and commissions that have been paid out to Jim and the people in his group, just because of one sample, all the families and all the lives that have been touched. Who wouldn't want to have that whole organization underneath them?
Well, T, that's such a powerful concept. And that's why we never know what that sample is going to do. And that's why we have to release it, because it has so much power, so much potential. And it can literally change your life within hours, within days, within weeks. I'm talking about taking you from a place of struggle, of uncertainty, of I don't know if this business is going to work, to a blessings where you can't even turn it off. You can't even stop it anymore. It's just out of control. And you will never know if you don't plant that sample in someone's hand.
And that's
absolutely.
That's so true. I like that you put the pictures on the slide here so we could see it, because sometimes when we're going about our daily business, just doing our thing, we don't connect all the dots. And by doing what you just did here and putting this there, it connects all the dots and it makes you see it in black and white what happens. I know what's happened just in this last week with people in our group from the sampling. And I'm just we're just bouncing off the walls because of it. You know, we're really, really excited about what we're seeing happening because of this program. And it's just one simple thing, and it makes it so easy. And, you know, and Jim has been saying it since day one, that he was sampled the matcha. And it was like all of a sudden a light bulb just came on when they started talking about this program.
Absolutely. Well, let's dig in. Let's show people how to do this, right? So, again, like we said, you're one sample away from an explosion. Now, what are samples? If you look at them properly, you know, the term that we learned from Jim Faubert is that they are silent salesmen, right? Meaning that they're just going to be out there selling for you and exposing for you. They never get tired. They work every single time. You know, and the reason they work is because Unicity's products are nutrition you can feel, right? You know, these are the three products that we're sampling: Unicity Balance, Unicity Matcha, and Unicity Complete. And all three of those are products that have an immediate impact on people. You know, when people sample Unicity Balance, Matcha, and Complete, they can see it, they can smell it, they can taste it, and they can feel it. I mean, let me just ask a question, you know, and I'm putting my partners on the spot, but these guys have been around these products for a long time. When someone samples Unicity Balance, hey, guys, what is it that people can experience right away from sampling Unicity Balance?
Oh, man. See, right away, they're going to notice how they start to get, you know, that feeling of fullness. They're going to notice that you actually get like a tingling with the balance. Because I remember the first time I drank it especially, I was like, man, something's going on. I can feel something's going on. So you don't know exactly what it is, but you know something's happening. And then just a few minutes later, you start to get that feeling of fullness and some of the cravings go away. And so you absolutely recognize that something is happening on the inside right away.
And most of the people, for me, they say it tastes good. They're not expecting it to taste good for some reason. And when they taste it, they're like, hey, this tastes good. And the other thing that I hear a lot is this. People who are diabetic, they're afraid that they can't taste it. That it's not good for them because it tastes too good. And then I have to make sure that I always tell them, no, this is made so that it won't raise your glycemic index. And they're like, really? And it's an amazing thing because a lot of people are not having, and most of the time it's breakfast. They're not having breakfast or they're not having the right foods for breakfast. So when you let them taste it, they realize how fast and how quick and how easy and how good it is.
So we're still talking about balance, right? And
Yep.
What's cool about balance, right, is that, when diabetics in particular, when they use Unicity Balance, they can actually see their blood sugars start to go down, even with just one packet. Dr. Secret says that on our Monday night primetime calls, right? So, they can eat a meal that they would normally eat and that would normally raise their blood sugar and just use Unicity Balance before. And typically what they will see is that their blood sugar doesn't spike as much or doesn't spike at all. And that blows their minds. And another thing that they can see when they try Unicity Balance is just how easy it is to do, right? And so now let's talk about matcha. And I hope everybody who's out there is taking notes. We've got a great call. Congratulations to all the leaders for promoting this call and getting everybody on. But when people try the matcha, what is it that they can experience right away? What is it that they can expect?
First of all, it's going to smell great. We want them to, we just don't want them to, we want this sampling to be an experience. So what I like to do and what we learn to do, T, is we like to set them up for positive results. So we say things like, I want you to look at the package. When you open it up, I want you to smell it. When you drink it, it's going to taste good and it's going to make you feel good. So we've set them up for a positive experience. They're now expecting that positive experience, and we're going to deliver on it. So when they smell that, it smells great. And when they mix it up, it doesn't look good. You could even tell them, hey, it's ugly, it's green and ugly, but it tastes really great. And now when they sip that matcha, the taste is going to blow them away, first of all, because there are not many green things that taste good.
Uh-huh.
There are not many green things that taste good, let's be honest. and that's why I was 400 pounds, because I hate green stuff.
And it's funny that you should bring up green stuff because by the way, if you walk around drinking a matcha, you'll be able to sample tons of matcha because the world is actually now getting turned on to green drinks, but they don't expect them to taste good, like you said, Owen. And so when you show them a green drink that tastes good and it's good for you, man, I tell you what, that's powerful. But let's go on to Unicity Complete. I want to get you guys feedback. And by the way, I love what's happening now. Folks on the webinar are typing in their commentary, right? So I got Kenny Gunn from Tulsa. He's saying, well, when people experience matcha, he says it looks funny, but it tastes great. And he said when they try the balance, he said they're going to experience a smaller appetite and their energy is going to go up. And people are asking great questions like how many samples should one person get? And we'll come back and we'll answer that again a little bit later. So, Jessica, make sure you ask that question again later on if it looks like we're forgetting. And Janetta's asking, is there a balanced G? And the answer to that is yes. And Jessica's also asking, can teenagers drink balance and matcha? And the answer to that is absolutely yes. And so I'm just glad that the folks on the webinar, are engaged in this conversation. But I want to ask you two guys, what can people experience with Unicity Complete? With a sample of Unicity Complete.
I mean, the taste. This stuff tastes amazing. It tastes sinful. It tastes so good. So the first thing they're going to recognize when they drink that Complete, and either, they can mix it with water or milk. It still has that great taste. But the taste is going to really, really blow them away. And they're going to realize that they're not hungry because it has 23 vitamins and minerals in it. It's a meal. It's a complete meal, and if they drink that, they'll probably realize that they won't eat for several hours because that sample pack is actually a complete meal.
Absolutely. Owen, we did a birthday party for my wife today. Her birthday's coming up this week, and so we had the family over and some friends, and my sister-in-law mentioned that she was curious about the Complete, but she doesn't drink milk. So she's like, can I drink that? How is it with water? I'm like, well, how is it with water? It tastes great with water. And so I immediately went and I mixed her up one and let her try it, and she thought it was awesome. Everything that you just said was her experience. She thought it smelled great. She thought it tasted great. She goes, I could drink this every single day. Mm-hmm. Hey, Julie, what do you think about the Complete?
I have the same reaction with that. With a lot of people, I tell them too, I shake it up a lot of times right for people. and because I want them to see how easy it is, how quick it is, and how fast it is, and how good it is. And I always do it with the water, and I tell them if you like milk, you can have it with milk as well. But then I tell them you can do it fancy too. If you want to make it like a smoothie, you can add all the different kind of fruits and things that you want and change the taste and the whole 9 yards. And so they're like, really? And most people say, oh, I really like it this way. And literally it makes it easy for them to see how they can use it. And, you know, people just plain a lot of times are skipping their breakfast or having the wrong thing for breakfast. So
it's very flexible. See, you know what we do here at home in our house? We actually get those, you know, the popsicle containers that you can make popsicles out of, and you can put it in the freezer. We actually mix Lean Complete and pour it in the popsicle freezer, and we push it down, and the kids can actually pull it out and have a Lean Complete popsicle, which is a healthy snack than a sugar-laden popsicle. They're really eating nutrients. So we make Unicity Complete popsicles at home.
I'll be jiggered.
Hey, you know what? I tell you what, there's a lot of that going on. I mean, Kenny Gunn is telling me that his kids, he's makes some smoothies, and he does it with almond milk and all sorts of great things. But you know what? I can't believe that between the three of us geniuses, none of us said the main thing about Unicity Matcha, that within about 10 to 15 minutes, people are going to feel energized.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we got all excited about the way it smells, and we talked about how it looks, but, you know, you're going to get that energy. So I just want to thank, you know, one of our, I believe, senior directors from Jamaica, Judith Lawson, for reminding us of that on the webinar. That's hysterical. But let's keep going here, because so we know now that these are great products to sample. And what I love is that it's not just the three of us talking about it. I mean, I'm looking at the webinar, Owen and Julie, and our team is just as excited about these products and how they taste, and they're telling us in the webinar right now how to use them and how they're using them and their experience. So these are exciting products. We need to get the word out, and we can do that through sampling. And by the way, in the lower part of that picture there, you can see what the sample sleeves look like. Right, they're really cool. You know, they fold up neatly, and they hold one packet and a business card of each of the products, or one sachet in there. So your options, folks, are to buy the Unicity sample pack. Right, you see that on the left side of the screen there, and the sample pack comes with 30 samples in it, 10 balance, 10 matcha, and 10 complete, and it comes with the sleeves for each one, and they're not already made up, and you got to put them together, but it's real easy to do. And what I recommend is that you have your kids do it, right? Because we need to start teaching our kids to participate in the family business. So if you have kids, this is a great thing for them to do. It's easy for them to put your sample together for you so you can be ready to get out there. Your other option, and by the way, to buy the sample pack is $50. And here's something that's powerful, because, Julie, there's all sorts of sampling programs in our industry, but very rarely is it that a company will allow you to earn PV on the samples, right? But our Unicity sample pack is a product, and you can earn PV on it. Now, here's a crazy thing that happened yesterday. We're doing the Houston training, and we got all these doctors there, and they said, you know what, they started to realize that they can use this as a starter pack to get someone started on the products, right? So they actually said they're going to buy bunches of sample packs and sell them to people, so they have 10 days worth while they're waiting for their products to get started or whatever, for whatever their reason. So that's an idea that we can throw out there, because I know some people were in the past, Owen, putting 10 days worth of product in a Ziploc bag and selling that. Okay, well, here's a classier option. Sell them the Unicity sample pack. Now, the other thing that you can do is the sleeves. You can buy the sleeves. And this is very important, especially for our friends in Jamaica, or even our friends in some of the other countries, because, for example, in Jamaica, the Unicity Balance G, the glucose version, that's the one that we're using in Jamaica. We don't have the cholesterol version approved yet. And so what you guys can do in Jamaica is you can buy these sleeves. You can buy the Balance sleeves because they're generic. And you could put right now I know you still have the Slim G boxes. You could put a packet of the Slim G in there with your business card, and you can hand it out that way. Or you can buy the matcha sleeves or the complete sleeves, since you do have those two products. and you can use those, except, I'm sorry, you don't have the complete in sachets yet, but you have the matcha in sachets, so you could build a sampling campaign around matcha and Unicity Balance, the Slim G version. But either way, the sleeves are $7.50 for 30 Balance sleeves, $7.50 for 30 matcha sleeves, or $5 for 20 complete sleeves, and those quantities match the quantities that come in the box of that product, okay? One other reason why we have the sleeves is because we know some folks are going to choose a product that they're most excited about, that's easiest for them to sample, and that's what they're going to focus on. So, for example, a lot of our younger folks are going to really be focused on matcha, and so they can do a sampling campaign where they just do matcha. They may not want to sample the other products. They may just want to do the matcha so they can just buy the sleeves. All of these are available in your Unicity web office right now.
Tigre, can I say something about the sleeves?
Go ahead.
Absolutely. Go ahead, guys.
I really, really, really think and I'm going to be honest here, when I first saw it, I thought, well, I can just give a packet, and I'll still, if I don't have sleeves, I will just give a packet and do it, okay? But I'm telling you what, those sleeves, when you hand it to somebody, it makes it look fancy. It makes it look like a gift. I mean, our packaging alone is major, okay? And it's beautiful packaging. But put it together in that sleeve with the business card in the back, it really made it seem like something special when we were giving them away this week.
Yeah, I agree, Jules, because, T, what I did is we put the business card on the inside. The sachets. That's like putting clothing on your matcha. You don't want to send your sample out there naked. So it's like putting it in a nice suit. And what you do is you put your business card on the inside if you want, with your telephone number, your email address, all that stuff. And on the back, there's a blank space on the back of the sleeve. And what you can do is, for God's sake, don't write in it. Don't take a pen and write in there, guys. We want to.
Hey, Owen, I'm gonna temper that, because I know people are just getting going, and they got to get their stickers, because you're about to tell everybody do stickers, and I agree with you, that you can go to the office supply store and get labels and print them out, and that's going to look a whole lot more professional. But one thing I don't want to do is I don't want people in a state of inactivity. So if you don't have labels yet, you go ahead and write on it. Write as neatly as you can and get labels as quickly as you can so that you can transition to labels. Because
what you can put on the back there, T, is actually you can put your meeting, like, for example, if you have weekly presentations in your local market, you can actually put to learn more, visit, and you can put whatever hotel or wherever you have your meetings on those days at 7 p.m. or whatever the time is, or even you can put the webinar, or you can put the Monday night call number on the back there. But you always want to get that person's number. I know we're going to cover this in a minute, because we want to maintain that control of that sample. So, always use every part of the sleeve to promote your business.
Absolutely. Hey, you know what, Owen? One of the things that I do on my sleeves, on the back of my sleeves, is I've got my name, I've got my phone number.
Too, so.
Right. Yeah, I do have them on my shirt sleeves too. But that's just so I don't forget who I am. Because sometimes I get so excited I forget my name, but then I look at my sleeve, it says T. Gray. Oh, that must be me. But even though I put my business card in the sleeve, I also put my name, my phone number, my email address, pgdsystem.com, my Facebook, and my Unicity ID number on the back of the sleeve.
Right.
And I tell you why. Here's one of the things that's just so crazy, right? So I stopped and I just thought about how big this is going to get when these samples are literally just everywhere, right? And we're going to show people how to create a sample explosion. But I did this yesterday at the meeting. I did an example, because this is going to happen, right? This is going to happen. I can't wait for the story. I don't know when it's going to happen, Owen. I don't know who it's going to happen to first, Julie. I don't know what city or state or country it's going to happen in, but it is going to happen. And when it happens, I want you guys to make sure that you immediately let me know the story. So I did a demonstration where I took Dr. Laura Fernandez and I pretended to sample her with a sample of the matcha. And I just whispered in her ear that I wanted her to take the sample, and while she was walking, I wanted her to be looking at the sachet and my business card and accidentally drop the sleeve and not realize it and keep walking, which she did, right? So she's walking, she's looking at the stuff, she drops the sleeve, she doesn't realize it, she keeps walking. And I come up behind her, and I pick up the sleeve. Someone's going to find a sleeve in the street or at the beauty salon or whatever. And here's what I did. I picked it up, and I thought the sleeve itself looked great because you know what Tiffany Barrett just texted me from Bahamas? She said everybody that she has sampled, their first impression was that, wow, this packaging, this sleeve in and of itself is beautiful. And so it's attention grabbing. So I picked it up off the street, and I said, wow, look at this. This is interesting, but there's nothing in it. But there's a website on the back. And so I went home, and I went to the website, which is pgdsystem.com, and I watched the videos. And I went through step 1 and step 2 and step 3. I got to step 4, and I'm like, wow, I want this stuff. I downloaded the preferred customer enrollment form. I'm following the instructions, and the instruction says, call the person who sent you here. And I'm like, oh, I wonder if there's a phone. Oh, yeah, there's a phone number here. And so I called up the person, and I said, hey, you don't know me, but I found your sample sleeve in the street, or I picked it up at the beauty salon or wherever, the floor of the elevator. I went to the website and watched the videos. I like this. I want to do it. You know, it said the website said to call you.
Mm-hmm.
Do you realize that's going to happen?
That's awesome. I mean, that right there. They never stop working. They never stop working. They don't get tired. And, I mean, that's an awesome example right there, T. And you'll be surprised how many people are going to join this team and this business in the next 90 days. And I guarantee we'll have at least one story like that.
Yep, absolutely. But it can't happen if the back of the sleeve is blank.
Right. Or someone's going to leave one in the airport seat pocket, and someone's going to pick up the magazine and find it there. So, you know, there's all kind of ways to just plant that seed.
Absolutely. All right, well, let's show people how to do this then. You guys ready?
Oh, yeah, I'm ready.
So first let's show them the math. You know, I love the way Jim says it. He says, we are in the math business. And this is so important that everybody on the team understands this. I think, Owen, Julie, so many people quit because they don't give the math a chance to work. And the math that we're talking about is the law of large numbers, write that down, and the law of averages. The law of large numbers and the law of averages. They never, ever fail. You don't know when, where, and who they're going to work with, but they never, ever fail. So here's the sampling program, and here's what we want to encourage you to do. To sample 3 a day. Give out 3 samples a day. And we're going to teach you how to do it properly, because if you do it right, you get rich. If you do it wrong, you go broke. So we want to make sure you do it right. But you give out 3 a day, which is 90 a month. Now, I just want to ask a question of each individual on this call. If you gave out 90 samples a month, 90 different people a month got a sample from you, do you think that something's going to happen? And the answer is absolutely. It has to, right? Even better than that, if you committed to doing that for 90 days, because that's what we're teaching, folks, 3 a day, 90 a month, for 90 days at least. Now, you put 90 samples a month out there, 270 samples altogether. Do you think something's going to happen? Do you think somebody's going to like it and want to use it? Do you think someone's going to join the team? Do you think somebody's going to lead you to a bunch of other folks? What do you think the answer is? Absolutely, it's going to happen. Right? It has to. Why? Because the law of large numbers and the law of averages says it has to. Okay, well, do you guys think it's reasonable that if a person did 3 a day, 90 a month, that in a 30 to 90-day period of time they'd end up with 10 people on their team?
Oh, I think that's conservative, too. Yeah, I think they definitely.
Okay, well, Owen says it's conservative, so let's stay conservative then. And here's what happens, because what are we going to teach those 10 people? The same thing.
3 a day.
So now you got 10 people doing 3 a day, 90 a month. Well, what does that add up to? 900 samples in the market that are down underneath you each month. 900 a month. And I got to ask you guys a question. With 900 samples out there in a month, do you think something's going to happen?
Oh, yeah.
It has to, right? Now, do you think it's reasonable, guys, that the 10 could have the same results that you had?
Sure.
Okay. So the 10, over a 90-day period of time, they each get their 10. So now we're 6 months out, okay? 90 days after 90 days from the point that you got 10, which was 90 days from the point that you started doing it yourself. You got 100 people now. What are we going to teach them? Same thing. So 100 people, 3 samples a day, 90 samples a month. That's 9,000 samples a month, 9,000 silent salesmen each month out there working for you. Do you think that something's going to happen?
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Absolutely. But I want to ask my co-trainers here to elaborate. I'm going to throw a question out there, and I'm going to let you guys just run with it. In order for this to happen, what is the first thing that anybody who's on this line listening who wants this kind of result, what is the first thing they've got to do?
Begins with you.
You
have to be willing to do it yourself.
That's right.
And
Order
when
your
you
3
do it
boxes
yourself,
of matcha or your 90 samples and start.
Yep.
And you start the trend in your own business.
And that's what we're doing. We've started this week, and it's been amazing what's been happening. So we're really excited about it.
I mean, how could you tell someone to sample if you're not sampling? I mean, you have to be the first one. And the thing is, you ask people and they say, okay, but when they realize that you're out there doing it and they come across someone who has a sleeve that you gave out, and now they realize that you got people coming to the presentation or attending a meeting or whatever, and they're saying that, I got started because this one gave me a sample, and now it's starting to hit home. So they're going to start to get on board, because once it begins, this is going to be a wave. I think this is going to create so much volume and momentum over the next 90 days that it's going to be crazy when we start to look back at the impacts of the sampling program.
And what I really like about it best is it's such a non-threatening way for people to share, and it's literally changing. I'm just watching so many people in my group that are really shy and really wonderful, nice people, but they didn't quite know how to share the information. And now with the samples, they're handing out the samples and they're getting the information back from the people and they're following up with them. So I really like that aspect of it too.
And everywhere we go, there are sample candidates all around us every day. School just opened. Go meet your child's new teacher and sample them right away. I wanted to meet you. I'm Daniel's dad, What do you do? Well, I do this here. Let me give you a sample. Everywhere you go, people in the department stores that are serving you, the checkout cashiers, everywhere you go, there's a sample candidate.
That is awesome. That is awesome. I hope everybody wrote that down, because what Julie and Owen just taught you is how to find people to sample. Like Owen just said, everywhere you go, there are candidates. There are checkout cashiers. There's the people standing in line in front of you. Hey, Owen, you know what I've done? I just started choosing the longest line in the supermarket. And, we always like to try to choose the shortest line. I choose the longest line now. It gives me a chance to sample that person standing in front of me without them getting to the register too quick, right? So there are people absolutely everywhere. So I hope everybody wrote that down, and we're going to give you guys this recording. Here's another thing that was just brought out. These guys just showed you that you need to have sample inventory. Jim says you can't sell shoes out of an empty shoebox. Hello? So you got to have sample inventory. So guess what I did, Owen? Guess what I did, Julie? I added 3 boxes of matcha to my auto refill. Now notice I did not say I substituted. I added it, right? So I'm still doing my core pack, and I'm also adding 3 boxes of matcha. Because if I'm going to do 90, I need to have 3 boxes because there's 30 in a box.
And you need
right? So
90 sleeves.
90 sleeves. So that's an investment in my business. And by the way, we can't say this enough, so let's make sure that every few minutes we say this again. Everybody on our team has got to do the Prime Challenge. We got to start a wave of Prime Challenge, and it starts with us, and we can go from us out to the world. So every last person on this team, go ahead and sign up for the Prime Challenge today, myprimechallenge.com. It doesn't cost anything. You just have to use Unicity products. You really only have to use one product if you read the rules and regulations. But you need to use the products. You need to put in your vision, your weight, your measurements, and all that kind of stuff. And not only am I doing the Prime Challenge, but guess what, Owen? Guess what, Jules?
I know.
I signed up for the transformation. I posted it on Facebook, right? And I want everybody on this team, once you sign up for the challenge, post on our Facebook pages, hey, I'm doing the Prime Challenge. Post on your Facebook page, I am doing 90-day Prime Challenge with Unicity. Come do it with me. Okay?
Awesome.
All right. So I hope everybody's got that in their notes, because now what we're going to do is we're going to dig in and talk about how to sample exact properly. Because remember, you sample properly, you get rich. You sample wrong, you go broke. All right. Let's talk about how to sample matcha. And I think the jury is in. This is the easiest one.
No doubt about
right? This, hands down. I had the whole flight crew on my flight back from Utah drinking matcha in the back of the plane in the galley. Right? And here's the question that I asked. Do you ever get tired? I just asked him. I said, you ever get tired? And he said, I'm tired right now. What do you mean? You know? And I have asked other people, I say, do you drink energy drinks? And they either say yes or they say no. And then once they answer that, I say, well, I'd like you to try my company's all-natural energy drink. It's called Unicity Matcha. It's not loaded with sugar. It comes from matcha green tea. It's all natural, and it's really good for you. Now, one thing I got to let you know is it looks gross. It tastes great. You're going to feel fantastic, and you're going to want some more. What do you guys think about that? And are you saying something different that's also working?
No, I say the same thing, and I say at the end also, you're going to want more, and I'm going to help you get it. And T, do you know that energy drinks now make $12 billion a year? That means people are looking for energy. They want something to give them this energy. And these energy drinks are so bad for you, it's like eating a handful of sugar. So why not give these people that are spending $12 billion every year looking for something to give them energy, let's give them the best energy on the planet.
Wow. Wow, that's awesome. That is totally, totally awesome. Man, what about you, Jules?
I tend to talk a lot about the anti-inflammatories in them. And then for us, a lot of times I'll say, hey, do you ever watch Dr. Oz? Because he's always doing shows on matcha. And so most people have heard of him, and they say, oh, really? And literally, for me, a lot of them, like the guy that I gave the sample to, and that was on Friday too, literally he opened up, I asked him when he was going to try it so that I could get his information. He walked right over, got his water bottle, put the water in it from his cooler and drank it right there. And he told me, I don't drink energy drinks. And I said, well, that is great to hear. And then I went on to tell him about the anti-inflammatories. It's good for your heart, the whole 9 yards. And he said, well, I do caffeine and Mountain Dew instead. And then he said, sure, I'll try it if it's good for you. So when somebody does tell you they don't drink energy drinks, the answer to that still is, well, that's great. And then go into, why the matcha is good for you. And it's just interesting how many people come back and tell me, oh, I do caffeine instead, and I have Mountain Dew and soda instead. And they think nothing of that.
They don't think anything of that, right?
No.
Absolutely. Now here's just a quick sidebar. I know I just told everybody sign up for the Prime Challenge. The rules do say you need to be a resident of the U.S. or Canada. So the Jamaica team is hitting me up on this on Facebook. Don't worry, Jamaica team. We will make sure that we get it in Jamaica ASAP, okay? And as far as sampling is concerned, I also got a funny note from Shay Crawford, one of our Nashville leader. I mean, just to show you how crazy she is, she stopped a guy who was running through the neighborhood. She's driving. He's running. Right, and I gave her a hard time. I'm like, Shay, you're a stalker, right? But she stopped the guy because she said he looked like he could use the energy, and she sampled him, and he was excited about the packet. But, you know, this is a simple approach.
Tigray, can I say something about that?
Yep.
Shay was on the phone talking to me at the time the guy was running. And she said to me, hold on, Julie. I have to give out my third one for the day. I have one more to go, and this guy is the one that needs it. And she literally was driving aside. I heard the entire conversation. I'm going, oh, my God, this guy is running. And I listened to him say, well, he would take it. She went right into asking him about, does he live in the area? He said, yes, he does. She said, well, then I'm going to give you a call back. When will you take it? He said, I'll take it tomorrow morning. Got his information in the whole 9 yards. I'm on the headset listening to it thinking, oh, my God, I wish I had this recorded for everyone to hear.
Hey, our new senior director, going executive director, Dr. Derek Jarrett from Jamaica, said he had 10 university students over to try the matcha, to sample the matcha, and now it's a smash hit on the University of Jamaica campus now. So matcha is a great product to sample. But let's show everybody how to sample Unicity Complete. And we're going in order here, right? We're going easiest to most challenging. All right, so Unicity Complete. I gave this some thought. Julie, Owen, tell me what you think. I think you just ask a person, so do you eat breakfast?
Yeah, I like that approach, T.
You like that? Do you eat breakfast?
I thought about it today.
Right, and there's only two answers to that. There's yes or there's no, right? If they say no, you say, why not? And what are most people going to say? I'm too busy, usually I don't have enough time, blah, 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 right? Yep. If they say yes, you just say, well, cool, what do you normally eat? And there's only two answers to that. They're going to say, well, I usually try to eat a healthy breakfast, or, man, I love my bacon and eggs. But no matter what they say, yes or no, healthy or not, you just say, well, great. Well, I'd like you to try my company's healthy breakfast solution. It's called Unicity Complete. It's quick, it's easy, it tastes great, and it's going to fill you up till lunchtime. What do you guys think?
I love that. I was thinking, because I was just trying to think, how do I give this sample of Unicity Complete away in the most effective way? I was thinking, maybe I sample that too. I be selective with who I choose. Maybe I give it to people at a gym. Maybe I give it to people at health food stores or whatever. And it starts to get complicated when you make it a chore, like you go into look for the right person. Everyone is the right person. And everyone either eats breakfast or they don't. And I think that's the great segue, T. I couldn't find anything better than that. I must give it to you. That was a good one. I like that one. I'm going to be using it.
Thank you very much. What do you think, Jules?
Well, I'm a big lover that they put this in packaging, and I'll tell you why. Because I've given out more Lean Complete in baggies than spoons. And so this is the easiest way I've seen. I literally, before this, was putting 2 scoops in a bag, giving it to people and telling them to shake it up with 10 ounces of water or milk and drink it. And I have sold lots of, when it was Lean Complete, now Complete, just by sampling it out of a bag, okay? And so to have it in beautiful packaging now and be able to give it to somebody just made it way easier. And it really is that simple,
I gave one away today, T, that this person has a family member in the hospital. They're not doing very well, and they're not eating. They're only on liquids. So I gave them a pack, and I told them, let them try this. It has 23 vitamins and minerals in it, and it's nutritious. It's a complete meal, and it'll help them, to regain their strength and stuff. So we can even use those samples for people that may be, not well right now and can't physically chew or eat, and they're on a liquid diet, and this is something that they can really put some good stuff in.
And 20 grams of protein is a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot.
People are really amazed with the amount. Anybody who I have that is into health and nutrition, usually it is that complete that they're looking over all the ingredients, and the first thing they come back and say is, wow, that's a lot of protein in there.
Yeah, I had a comment on here from Kenny Gunn from Tulsa, Oklahoma, and the guy is just like totally ripped. He's, super fit. People come to him for fitness advice, and one of the things that he said about the Lean Complete, we all got to get our terminology right, the Unicity Complete, is that he's tried, obviously in being a fitness guy, he's tried a lot of different, breakfast or meal replacement shakes, and he said this is by far the best tasting one that he's ever tried. So it's a very, very good, very high quality meal replacement shake, and is definitely a great solution for everybody out there. All right, well, let's tackle the big boy. You guys ready for Unicity Balance?
Let's do it, T.
All right. This is the tricky one because, obviously if you go up to people, you might have some folks talking about you trying to say I'm fat or whatever. But I just thought, definitely if you're in the gym or in conversation with people, you could ask this question. And some of you guys are skilled enough and personable enough that you don't even need to be in a gym or a conversation. But I think the opening question for this is this. You ask the person, when it comes to fitness, is your goal to lose weight or to tone up? And the person says, lose weight, or the person says, tone up. It really doesn't matter. You say, this is how, if you have a story, you say, So, for example, if it was me, I say, well, this is how I lost 29 pounds and a whole bunch of inches. I use Unicity Balance, right? Or if I want to use somebody else's story, I'd say, this is how my friend Dawn Urson lost 108 pounds in 14 months, and she used this product here, Unicity Balance. Or this is how my business partner Owen Burroughs lost 27 pounds in 3 weeks. He used this product. Here's a sample. Now, obviously, you're not going to lose weight in inches with one packet, but you will be able to see how easy it is to use, how good it tastes, and how it makes you feel. Panel, what do you think about that?
That's not bad, T. But you got to realize now, when we sample Unicity Balance, we're not sampling slim. So the word slim isn't there. So we don't even need to worry about someone being offended that we think they need to lose weight. We can lead with the balance. Hey, would you like to balance your health? Is your health everything it should be? Could you would you like to balance some things with your health a little more, whether it's on the inside or outside, or what, and use the word balance as a segue into this is a product that can help balance your health. Whatever your shortfalls are, it can make it up.
I think that is a genius idea, and it's sitting right there in front of us, right? So let's take the balance approach.
Yeah, take the balance approach.
That's exactly what I did too, and we go out to eat a lot, okay? So that is the easiest way now, because I always go, I do what you do in the longest line. When I go out to eat somewhere, I go where the most people are and take my cup and go get water where the most people are, so they have to see what I'm doing. And you put the pack down, and they can't help but ask what it is. We have just made it so easy to say, hey, this little packet is just balance my cholesterol, balance my triglycerides, and it's even helping to balance my weight where it needs to be.
Wow, Julie, so that's really powerful, and I want to make sure people don't miss that. You make people ask you.
Oh, yeah.
That's what you just said. You make people ask you.
Always.
Right? So that's a whole nother approach right there, by just being obvious and putting your product out there and for everybody to see. And by the way, we always encourage people to use your products in front of people, right? The folks who drink their Balance in the car and then go in the restaurant, what are you hiding for? You can do it at the table. If you go out to eat with Owen, Julie, or Tigray, or any of these leaders, here's what happens. We sit down at the table, the server comes over, and they say, do you want something to drink? We say, yes, but first can you bring us, how many of us are there? 1, 2, 3, 6 glasses of water, half full, with no ice.
No ice.
And
right.
And the server looks at us like, huh? 6 glasses of water, half full, no ice. And they come back with it, and then we've got our packets out on the table, and somebody's always got a hand mixer, and we go ahead and we do it. And my wife likes to bring her shaker cup with the lid, so she can just straight drama for people to see. And invariably, somebody asks, "What is that y'all just drank?"
Yep, and it's every time. They just can't help it.
See, we took our daughter she turned 10 while we were in Utah, so we took her out last night for dinner, and they sat us right in the middle because it was like a big group, and I always got my hand mixer, and I like to pull that boy out, and I make sure they bring me a nice like a wine glass or something like that to mix my Slim in, my Unicity balance. And when I put that blender in and I turn that on, and that starts, first of all, people are like, what is this gadget he's doing? I learned that from you. I never saw it until you used it once. And I put that in there, and I start to whisk that in that glass, that wine glass, and then I drink it, and I whisk my daughter's own up, and every single person around that table is looking, even the waiters. And they want to know, what's that? And I give them the sample. I say, smell it, Listen, man, this thing is so easy and so fun. Once you make it a part of your life, it just happens naturally. You don't even have to say
Owen, I'm getting ready to go to the next slide, but before I do that, you said something that I just heard that has nothing to do with sampling, but I want to make sure everybody else heard it. Your daughter's birthday was while you were in Utah. You didn't let your daughter's birthday be an excuse to stay home. I'm sure you made it the reason why you had to go, and you still celebrated the birthday. You just did it when you came back. And so I just want to encourage this team that when it comes to our big events, man, don't let these, what the family said today when they were over here, Owen? They said to my wife, they said, we're amazed that you guys are actually home for Trina's birthday, because literally for the last 3 birthdays, every time we were either at a Unicity reward trip or a Unicity convention, because it just happened to fall on her birthday. And we never let that be the reason that we couldn't go. And I'm so glad, Owen, that you set that example for the team.
Thanks.
All right. So when it comes to sampling, we just showed you some ideas. Of course, you can use your own ideas, but we just gave you some ideas of how to sample matcha complete and balanced. And also one thing that it kind of goes without saying, but we got to make sure we say it, is you got to make sure you show them how to use it, right? Because if you don't show them how to use it, they will use it wrong and have a bad experience. And we want to make sure they have a good experience. And one thing you can also do is make sure you send them a text message with the instructions also, right? So that's just one more reason to get their phone number, and we'll talk about that in just a minute. Okay. Now, the next part of sampling properly is, even though you've kind of given your little 15-second pitch on the product, now it's time for you to ask 3 important questions before you get to them, right? So I do that first part while I'm holding the sample by myself, okay? I'm showing them, I'll flip the lid, I'll show them the packet inside, and I say that little piece that we've all just kind of gone over. But now I actually close it back up neat, and I extend it. I let them put their hand on it, and now we're both holding it. As soon as I extend it, they try to take it from me, but I don't let it go. I say, wait a second, I got to ask you 3 questions first. And the first question is, if I give this to you, will you try it? And obviously the person needs to say yes. And I have to say yes, I say, great. When will you try it? And they tell me when they're going to try it. And then I say, great, when can I call you to see what you like the most? And that's when they've got to give me their number. They usually tell me, well, you can call me this time, blah, 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 right? Now, what I'm finding is that, Julie, 75% of the time, because, team, I'm doing this myself. I'm not just sitting in the ivory tower saying, you guys do it. I'm saying, let's go do it. I'm doing 3 a day, 90 a month myself. So here's my experience so far. 75% of the time, people, just no problem at all, they give me their name, email, and phone number. No problem. 25% of the time, I get people that say, oh, I see your information is here. Why don't I just call you? And translation, they don't want to give out their information. And here's what I say to them, Owen. I say, well, listen, My sampling program requires that if I give you the sample, I have to get your name, phone number, and email so that I can be responsible for finding out what you like the most. And what's been happening is 100% of the time that I say that, they say, okay, and give me their phone number, email address, and their name. Okay? I have had no problem after that. And I had to think, I said, well, somebody said, well, what would you do if they still said no, they didn't want to give you their information? You know what I would do? I'd take back my sample.
Yes.
I'd say, you know what? No problem. I understand that, but I'm going to have to take that back from you then. And move on and feel fine about it. Yes. So this is a very important part, so I want everybody to hear from you guys about this as well.
Yeah, T, professionals, they do it that way. Jim says amateurs pay, professionals get paid. So we always ask, when are you going to take it? When can I call to see what you like best? So that now allows us to do a follow-up call. And T, what's so important, and I mean, I think I'm saying the right thing. You can let me know. But even when we call them back, we're really only going to do what we say. We're going to ask them, what they like best. We're not going to try to do a presentation on the phone or sell them something. We want to find out what they like best. And once they lead us to that, we will now want to put them through the process of being exposed. So the sample allows for the follow-up call, which allows us to now channel and position them to the next step in the process. So I love those two questions.
Very, very important. Good stuff, Owen.
The questions work really good. We're using the same exact questions, and we have 5 other people besides myself that started, and as of tomorrow, well, actually yesterday, I should say, because we did part of this training at our training, we have a whole bunch more people that jumped on board. But from the 5 people and myself who've already done it, we've only had 2 people that had said no. And of those 2 people, one of them, because I taught them to don't give them the sample if they don't. And one of them, they didn't give them the sample. And the other one, after they told them, I need to be able to get in contact with you so that I can find out what you like, they gave them their information. But even the one that when they said no, they didn't want to give out their information, what I'm telling people is if you do get that, give them your business card. Give them your business card. Let them go take a look at the information on the website. And then if they call you, they call you. And if they don't, you're not out anything.
Yeah. Hey, I want to just say real quick, I'm proud of this team. I'm proud of everybody that's out there. And I'm really proud of you guys because I just checked the numbers real quick, and everybody is still on here. I mean, this is a long call. We're going long tonight, but because we really want to make sure everybody knows how to do this. And everybody is still on. I mean, we've got another record-breaking number of people, and you guys are just doing so great. So we're making sure that we deliver and that we honor you with the information that gives you what you need. And Mary Roth, I like what you just said. Mary Roth, she's come across this already, and she said that if people resist, when she tells them, she says, I tell them this is a new product in our area, and we really need to know what people think about it, so I need to get your number. And that's working for her. So you can come up with something like that, but the key thing is you want to make sure that you ask these 3 questions and that you get their contact information, because if you don't, you're just throwing your samples out there into the wind, and that's how people go broke. If you do it right, that's how people get rich. And I want to let you know what to expect. You're gonna follow up. You're gonna call people, right, at the scheduled time. And like Owen said, your objective is to set up a presentation, not give a presentation when they answer the phone. And we're going to teach you what to say on the next slide. But it's very important that you keep your word.
Yes.
If the person says, you can call me tomorrow after 5, then you make sure you call them that day after 5. You make sure you dial their number. Now, here's the thing. Don't get discouraged if people aren't there. Remember, it's the law of large numbers and the law of averages. Your goal is to get 90 out there and dial all 90 people back. Because you know what's going to happen? Somebody's going to be there.
That's right.
And you know what my experience is so far? Some of the folks aren't there. They don't answer the phone. Some of the folks do answer the phone, and I'm able to schedule the next step, but they don't keep their appointment. And now I'm going to start to see some of the folks that I've got scheduled now for next week, I'm sure some of them will actually keep their appointment. So it's just going to be a filtering down process, and you know what? Some of those folks are going to transact, either become a customer or a business partner, or lead me to one.
T, and what's so amazing, right, is that this is all a process that can be duplicated. If we teach this to our teams correctly, we will be unstoppable with what we can achieve in this business. For example, Stanley just said, the first time he ever saw the mixer used, I did it in a restaurant in Trinidad. So did Neil. Mark saw Stanley do it at the Rotary Club. Then Mark ordered 5. So what you do, your team will do. You think they're not watching, but they're noticing, and they're going to follow your lead. And now what's so important and what's so powerful, T, is when we do this sampling program, you don't need 90 people. You just need that one person to like it, to respond. If you can get that Jim Faubert out of 90, who cares about the 89?
Exactly. So
you're only looking for the right one. Everyone don't have to like the program. You just need the right one to do it.
And you know what, Owen? You don't know if that's going to be the first person, the 45th person, or the 90th person. So your job is not to care. Your job's not to care which one it is. Your job is to go through the numbers.
Just do it, 90.
Just go through it, right? Okay, so Dwayne Hackett is asking this question. Do we suggest giving 2 samples to one person?
Oh, no.
Well, I personally, I'm with you, Owen. I don't like the idea of necessarily giving one person multiple samples. I don't, it's up to you, Dwayne. I mean, I know a couple of people have already done it. But, here's kind of what I would do. I mean, I know one situation that came up is a person started out to sample the person with matcha, and then in the conversation, the person brought up that they had, diabetes. And the person also sampled them with the balance. I might make them choose. Me personally, to create the value, I might make them choose and say, okay, well, wait a minute now. I've got this one for energy, and I've got this one to help balance your blood sugars. Which one would you, if I only gave you one, if you could only have one, which one would you really want to have so you could try it?
Right.
To really drive up that value, right?
Right.
And then if they tried the one, maybe I'd let them try another. We'll see. But that's kind of, I don't know. What do you guys think?
I agree, T, because think about what you're doing. When we're sampling, you know what we're really doing? We're teaching our future business partner how to sample. And if we give 2 samples away, now their sampling expenditure just grew 100% because they think they have to give people 2 samples. They don't know you've been given 1 sample all day and just gave them 2. They think you give everybody 2 samples. So now the sampling expense just increased 100%. But if you tell that person, wow, now that you mentioned diabetes, I have the perfect thing for you. Give me that one back. I'm going to give you the thing that you need. Now you've shown them that you're a good listener. You've identified what their problem is, and you're going to provide a solution to their particular need at that time. Don't worry. They'll auto-refill. They'll auto-ship the matcha later because we know the Slim, the Unicity balance is going to target the blood sugar levels. And these diabetics notice when their blood sugar is balanced, they notice that immediately. So it's going to have a longer effect on them because it's dealing with their pain directly.
Absolutely. Jules, do you have anything to add on this?
No, I agree. I do the one. I've had several people that have given out 2 too. And, if they do it, they do it. But I really believe that it's one. And for me, when they're done doing the one, if it's really that important to them that they sample the next one and they have gone through the process and gone through the presentation, then yes, I would give them another one. But I wouldn't, for me, I personally will not give them a second one until after they have viewed the information and gone through it.
Wow. I tell you what, that's the way to do it. There we go. This is going to be such a great recording to get out there for the training for our group. Well, let's talk about what you actually say when you call them back, okay? Obviously, the first thing you're going to ask them is, did you try to sample? And if they didn't try to sample, there's no point in going any further. You want to make sure they understand how to use it. You want to ask them, when will you try it, and when can I call you again, right? But if they did try the sample, here's what I've been saying that's been working for me, and you guys let me know what's been working for you. I say, well, great, Owen, this matcha that you just tried, this is just one of 4 products that my company is using to help people achieve their prime health in 90 days.
That's so
The program is called the Prime Challenge, and people can win up to $5,000 for achieving their goal. I want to show you how the program works. Maybe it's for you or somebody else that you know. It only takes 15 or 20 minutes. What can we schedule in the next 2 or 3 days? And then I schedule a rally, and it might be that I schedule a one-on-one. So one guy, I've got a one-on-one telephone rally, right, where we're going to be on the phone, and he's going to be in front of his computer, and I'm going to take him through pgdsystem.com. We're going to do that on Monday. Right? I got another guy, invited him to a group rally that we're doing. And I know some folks have invited people to the webinar. All of those are rallies. But I think this is a simple way. I mean, this is my only goal is to be able to say this and get something scheduled. What do you guys think?
Yeah, T, I agree 100%. And the thing is, when you do the follow-up call, you got to put on your listening hat. This is a time when you really, really, really listen good. Because they're going to tell you in their response which way you can nudge them and how you can direct them to get what it is that they need most. And if the guy really likes it, if the prospect really likes it, you can even say, hey, the effect it has on you, it has that on everybody. And that's why this match is making so many people, a lot of money. And so now you can, and the person then, well, how can I get in on the money? Or how can I get this to my friends at work? So if you listen carefully, they're going to tell you and lead you to the next step in the process, which is always to get them a proper exposure. That's the next step, to get them a proper exposure.
Yep, absolutely. This is the place where people have to resist the urge to start presenting.
Yeah.
Because if you just stop and you think about it, if you get into a presentation here, it's not going to work. They're not ready for your presentation. They just sampled the product. You're developing a relationship. And so what you do now is you schedule a rally. Yeah, and I think this is a great way to transition. Hey, this is just one of 4 products. My company's using these products to help people achieve their prime health in 90 days. It's called the Prime Challenge. Folks can win up to $5,000 for achieving their goal. I want to show you how the program works. Maybe it's for you. Maybe it's for somebody that you know. It's only going to take 15, 20 minutes because it's not my intention at this point to share the business part. And I just want to get something scheduled within the next 2 or 3 days. So if I'm having this conversation with Julie today, which is Sunday, I want to be doing a rally with her on Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday at the latest. That's my objective.
Yeah.
What do you think, Julie?
Yeah, I like how you have this written out here. And I'm actually going to write this, and I'm already writing it word for word. Mine wasn't so fancy, but this covers everything. In mine, I'm just asking them, what'd you like best? When they tell me what they like best, I say, great. We have a bunch of amazing products, and that's how I said it. And I said, we've got a Prime Challenge going on right now. I want to just take 15 or 20 minutes of your time where you're sitting in front of a computer, because my objective at this point is to be doing more on the telephone and then drive them to my meetings from there, okay? And I set up and booked the time. Like the lady that I was just on the phone with right before, I mean, it literally took less than 3 or 4 minutes to go through that with her, and we booked her time for tomorrow night at 5:30. I said, I just need you sitting in front of a computer, and I'll be sitting in front of mine, and then we're going to look at the information together, and then from there we'll see where we go.
And Jules, I think that's so powerful because it's so non-threatening, right? Mm-hmm. Because remember, this is somebody you just met. They don't really know you, but from the safety of their home, they can sit in front of a computer and talk to you on the phone, and you can take them through pgdsystem.com, which is absolutely mind-blowing, and then move them to a next step. So very important, folks. Just remember, keep this simple. Julie said the conversation is really 3 or 4 minutes, and it really is, right? I mean, if they tried it, what did you like most? Fantastic. Okay, great. This is just one of the 4 products, And I like the way you said it, Julie. She said, we've got a Prime Challenge going on right now. I love that. So you can throw your own swag and your own words into this a little bit, but just don't make it long. Just don't make it complicated, and remember your objective. Go ahead, Owen.
Schedule that follow-up, the next event, as quick as possible, because it'll only take a few things to happen, and that person is going to be distracted. They're going to forget how it made them feel. They're going to think, life is going to happen. So get that next event booked immediately, as quickly as they're available. You become available to follow up on that experience.
That's right, 72 hours. And the way to do that, Owen, is you got to be specific in your request. It can't be open-ended. I don't know if everybody noticed that I asked, so when can we schedule something within the next 2 or 3 days? Right. So if you have to give them the parameters, otherwise they'll put you off for a week, and that's not what you want. All right, well, great. Well, folks, we're almost done, and I checked the numbers again, and you guys won't believe this, but everybody's still with us. So let's honor these guys and get this webinar done, and we'll get it into a video so everybody can use it over and over again. And we want to just close out by reminding you of the formula. Now that you know how easy it is, and now that we've shown you exactly what to say, and we've taken some of the mystery out of it for people, again, remember, your objective, 3 a day, 90 a month. And Julie is looking for people, and Owen is looking for people, and I'm looking for people. All of our presidential leaders, we're all looking for people who will commit with us to 3 a day, 90 a month for 90 days. And I like to say, Owen, without complaining, right? I don't want to hear, for the folks I'm working with, I don't want to hear 15 days from now or 30 days from now, oh, I didn't hit my home run yet. Listen, you got to give the law of numbers and the law of large numbers and the law of averages time to work. So commit to this for 90 days at least. And I'm confident that people who do it for 90 days will do it forever, because you're going to start winning. And you're going to, just realize if you sample Jim Faubert, that one sample paid for all your samples that you ever sampled before, and probably all your samples in your entire lifetime. Right? So it's not about how much it costs. It's about just keep going until you find that person. I love the folks in Jamaica. They've been running these advertisements. And, I remember Anne-Marie or somebody, they paid $1,000 for 10 minutes on television. But you know what? The phone rang 800 times after that. And so it's not about what it costs you. It's about what it will make you, right? And so 3 a day, 90 a month. You get 10 people doing this, you got 900 a month. And when the 10 turn into 100, you got 9,000 a month. And so the big question is this: how big of a silent sales force do you want in the market working for you? Folks, I know I can speak for Julie. She's committed to this. I know I can speak to Owen. He's committed to this. I know I can speak for every presidential leader on our team. When I talk about those guys, I'm talking about Zhang Zhang. I'm talking about Kor Zhang. I'm talking about Nora and Myrtle and Ian and Anne-Marie and Janelle and Stanley and Neil and Rodney. Every last one of us is committed to 3 a day, 90 a month for at least 90 days. And we invite you guys to do it with us. We're all signing up as we are able to for the challenge. Those of us who are able to sign up, we're all signing up for the challenge. We're leading by example, and we're all doing the samples, which can be done in any country. And we invite you guys to take this seriously and go on the sampling campaign with us. All right, well, that wraps up the training part of our call, and it pretty much wraps up our call. Just a couple of quick announcements before you jump off. Please don't jump off right just yet. I just want to remind you guys that we have our Monday night primetime call tomorrow. That is the next event, and we encourage you guys to work from event to event. That is a powerful call, and you know what? People who you sample, that's a great place to put them on, because they're going to hear stories of people who are using our products and getting amazing, amazing, amazing results. And they're going to also hear about the Prime Challenge on that call as well. And then after that, we have our Wednesday webinar, our Wednesday Prime Rally webinar, and we want to make sure that we load that up as well. We're going to continue to have great stories. Lastly, pgdsystem.com, Step 5 now has the videos. So people can actually press play and watch the slideshow presentation and listen to the audio of the presentation as well. And for those of you who would like to continue to present on your own, no problem. There's the option of doing it without the audio so that you can provide your own commentary. So the tools are there. Let's sample. Our plan is just 3 steps. Sample 3 a day for 90 a month for 90 days. Step 2, do the Prime Challenge. And step 3 is to everybody does the rallies because they're so simple and they can even be done one-on-one over the phone. So that's it, folks. This is a long call. We're going to go ahead and wrap this thing up. It was great to be able to share with you guys. We're in a new day. Let's go ahead and drive this thing and turn it into massive momentum. Looking forward to the stories. Make sure you let us know how the sampling program is going for you so that we can continue to update everybody. And let's make Facebook and our WhatsApp groups just totally, totally rock.